Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to the round 5 of the Chennai Masters in 2024. So we're following now of course the leader of this top event, which is of course the top grandmaster and man of the hour Arjun Erigiaisi. Arjun in this event gained a really crazy performance. He had 3.5 points out of the first 4 rounds that he played. Really crazy performance, and with this wins he gained also many rating points. In his live rating now, Arjun has an incredible 2,809 rating points, which is again a spectacular rating. Only Magnus Carlsen is above him, so really beautiful performance again by Arjun Erigiaisi. But today Arjun has to face two-time Indian champion Aravindh Chithambaram. Aravindh Chithambaram, really strong player. Look at this. He's also having a strong rating, 2,706 rating points. So let's see now what happened. It was really, I would say, a spectacular Indian derby in the round 5 of the Chennai Masters in 2024. So with the white pieces, Aravindh Chithambaram open with the move d4. Arjun's response was knight to f6, and already a huge surprise, I would say, bishop to g5. We have the Trompovsky attack. With this attack we haven't seen now for a while, I think, in top GM level. Very rare opening. Here in the continuation, Arjun says, okay, I'll play a calm line with d5. If you want to take, then of course I'll simply take with e takes f6. Then I'll have bishop to d6. I'll have then good opportunities maybe with my bishop pair in the continuation of the game. Has been played many times, but here Aravind is not rushing. He plays now calm e3. After move g6, we have now knight to d2, bishop to g7, knight to f3, and after castling, bishop to e2, c5, and c3, we have reached now a similar position. I will not say it's the same, but a similar position like in the London system. In the London system, you build this really beautiful wall of pawns on dark squares, but the cool part is of course that your dark square bishop is outside of the pawn chain. So in the London system, the bishop is on f4 here in this Trompovsky attack. Now it becomes also the Torre attack against the here this King's Indian structure that Arjun built now. But I think we have similar strategic ideas like in the common London system. Here we after move c3, we have now the move b6 by Arjun. Aravind continues with kingside castling, and now bishop to b7. I'm more of a fan of this line with bishop to a6, because on bishop on b7, what I don't like is that the bishop is a little bit blocked by its own pawn. But bishop to a6, you can, I think, solve a couple of strategic disadvantages maybe with this bishop. Both lines are of course playable, but maybe in the beginning of the game, Arjun didn't want to trade off too many pieces. He tried to keep his pieces on the board in order maybe to complicate things then afterwards. Okay, here after bishop to b7, we have now the move b4 by Aravind. We have now knight from b to d7, and now b takes c5. b takes c5, queen to b3, hitting now the bishop, and here Arjun protects simply with queen to c8. a4, a novelty by Aravind, and now after move h6, we have now rook from a to b1. Good counter attack here by white. If of course h takes g5 happens, then after queen takes b7, the rook would come then very active into the game. After potential trades of queens, this bishop would then have a good activity, and maybe we can also double up with the rook. So here again, Arjun didn't want to risk anything, kept it again calm. After rook from a to b1, he played now simple bishop to c6. We have now bishop to f4, and I would say in this position, Arjun equalized the game. He has still a great opportunity to compete on the b file. Nothing wrong, although Aravind so far took over on the b file, but it's completable with rook to b8. So nothing really spectacular is going on now on the board. Here Arjun makes his first decision. That was a huge decision. He plays now the move g5. g5 is good. Bishop to e5 here by Aravind, but now I really didn't like now the continuation here by Arjun Erigiaisi. It's not a mistake or something that he's playing, but from a strategic point of view, I would say it's very tough then to play the game afterwards. Here what Arjun did, he played now the move c4, and this move is locking out further your light square bishop. This light square bishop will never come into the game anymore. You have a couple of chances to maybe improve it. You see now also what I mean about it. What a better choice was maybe here, instead of this move c4, is to play g4. G4 would be very aggressive, but it would force a reaction here by white, and now you pick up this one, knight to e5, d takes e5, and you go with knight to h7. And finally, look at this. With d4, this bishop could breathe. This bishop is attacking already a weak pawn on e5. Probably white would continue with queen to c2, but in some lines you can play e6, picking up this pawn. Very, I would say, dynamic position again, which the bishop pair loves to have. Of course, when you have the bishops, you're trying to let the position explode in the center of the board. c4 creates here, I would say, a more static position where it's very tough now to get the light square bishop into the game. And you see now, till the end of the game, Arjun will have now problems with his bishop on c6. So here, queen to a3, played by Aravindh, but again, Arjun has the opportunity to play the move g4, and then after knight to h4, knight to e5, d takes e5, again knight to h7, I would say, is solving all of the tactical problems. Probably white would continue with e4, would try somehow to split your pawn chain here, but afterwards you have always the opportunity to create some madness here around the square e5. The dark square bishop would be then a powerful piece, would eventually come into the game, and in this scenario the engine even evaluates the position as slightly better for black. So as I said, that was maybe Arjun's big strategic opportunity here to get somehow a better position, but he played, I would say, a slightly passive move with the move rook to e8, and allows here now h3 by Aravindh, and now g4 is not a possibility anymore. So two times Arjun had the opportunity of g4, knight takes e5, knight to h7, now bishop to f8, and now suddenly I think it's a position that white wants to have in this I would say Londonish systems, this Trompovsky attacks, where the bishop is outside of the pawn chain. The bishop here has still a good activity, although it's maybe locked here by this pawn. But look, I would love for you maybe just to compare the activities of both light square bishops, white and black. Look at this. When the bishop comes on f3 or something, it will be always attacking here the pawn on d5. This bishop is locked here, so this move c4 I really didn't like, although even afterwards Arjun had the opportunity to maybe attack the center, but now suddenly strategically I would say it becomes really tough game to play now for Arjun Erigiaisi. Queen to a2. Here Aravindh is not rushing, he's placing his pieces on a better square. He's trying, of course, maybe to get the queen even here on this diagonal. Now g4. Now comes a little bit too late. You see also the evaluation bar here. Again, the engine likes more and more white's position. H takes g4 here by white, knight to g4, bishop to g3. Here Aravindh keeps it again calm. Now the bishop is well placed. This bishop has at least the activity here. The knights are controlling the center of the board. E4 ideas are working, maybe to somehow split the pawns, so maybe picking up the pawn on c4. Many great strategic ideas come to mind, but just in white's position. Black is now on the defensive side, and even in this scenario, when Arjun finally pushed the pawn on g4, I think it's a little bit different now. Now the king is exposed also on g8, and it's now very hard now to play the game from black's perspective. Bishop to g7, rook from f to e1. As I mentioned, much better position here for white. Knight to f8. Arjun is searching for opportunities, but now Aravindh simply plays knight to h2. He doesn't want to tolerate any pieces on his side of the board. Knight to h2, bishop to h2, and now e5. And e5, okay, makes perfect sense because you're opening now a position, but Aravindh plays now a beautiful continuation. D takes e5. Great choice, because after bishop to e5, bishop takes e5, rook to e5, knight to f3, hitting the rook. Rook drops back, and now rook to d4. And look at this, white has a perfect control of the d4 square. You'll never be able to play d4 in the continuation of the game at all. Knight to d4 could happen, rook to d4, maybe with some shifting ideas towards the h file. So whatever the position is allowing you, I think it will probably happen around the square d4. So here bishop to b7, Arjun retreats with the bishop, knight to d4, hitting the rook, rook to g6, and now bishop to h5, rook to g5, queen to e2, here Aravindh is simply including further the queen into the attack. The rooks are good good active files. In the continuation, we can also maybe search for e4 breakthroughs if the position is allowed. So far it's not. So queen to d7, f4, we have rook to g7, and now queen to c2. Good move here by Aravindh, simply trying to get access to the f5 square. And what should you do here? I would say again, whatever black does, white is much better. For instance, the engine suggests that you should play bishop to c6, at least trying somehow to do something here, but then you play a calm rook to d2, allow even here bishop to a4. If that happens, queen to b1, but still knight to f5 would be then a huge threat. You cannot compete anymore on the b file, so again a massive position. After rook to d2, maybe you could try knight to e6, but look at this, the knight is coming on this beautiful square. You have to maybe play something like knight to c5, knight to g7, bishop to f3. You control everything in this scenario. Again, completely I would say winning position here for white. But after queen to c2, here Arjun didn't even play the most active bishop to c6. He played knight to e6, but in any lines, as I mentioned, white is so dominant all over the board. After knight to e6, knight to f5, again with the same pattern, rook to h7. Arjun is trying to step back, and now a brilliant idea, and that's the move that's cracking now the position here in the center of the board. Aravindh found the ultimate attacking idea. He is controlling the whole board. Look at this. There is a certain problem of the queen on the d file. In the game knight to f4, here played by Arjun, we have now e takes d5. And what should you do? It seems so that you can maybe pick up here the bishop on h5, but Aravindh really found the best ideas here. He calculated this position in a good way, because if you play knight to h5, Arjun didn't play that, then you get rook to e7. Then the rook is coming in a beautiful way into the game. You have to now connect the queen to the bishop if you don't want to lose, of course, your piece here. And then queen to f2. You just continue the attacking flow. This one is rolling. Look at this. All of white is down a piece, but the pieces are so well placed. They're playing in such a beautiful harmony. You try maybe queen to c6. You just push the pawn further, rook to d8, rook to d4, and the game's collapsing. There is now a huge threat of rook to g4. So again, a messy game here for black. So that's why after e takes d5, Arjun didn't want to pick up the piece. He controlled first of all his 7th rank with his rook. Now after f6, bishop to g4. Now Aravindh is finally getting out of this attack by the knight. We have now queen to d8, rook to d4, knight to d3, but now rook to f1. And again, there's not so much that can be done here for black. Look how more active white pieces are. White pieces are almost on the optimal squares all over the board. Here, even if you try to attack it, white will simply step back. You're trying to escape. Look at this. Queen to e2 is going to happen with the control of the e7 square. Again, I would say completely busted position. Even if you try again to somehow compete against this knight on f5, then you let this pawn roll here in the center of the board. And now after something like this, queen to e3, again, I would say completely messy position here for black. In none of these lines you can pick up this piece, this pawn here. Even if you try here, instead of this move h5, you cannot even play bishop to d5 because of knight to e3 simply traps the piece. You don't have access, of course, to the d7 square because of the bishop on g4. So really amazing control of any square now by white. After rook to f1, knight to e5 by Arjun, but now bishop to h3. We have now king to h8 and now d6. Again, the pawn is rolling. Look how Aravindh is playing very active chess. Here Arjun is trying to battle with queen to g8, but now rook to f4, simply getting this other rook into the game. Queen to g5. Even if you try queen to g6, maybe to do something against the queen to d2, you just again play queen to d4. There is also a problem of the endangered king now. Whatever you do, I would say in any of these lines, white is so dominant all over the board. After rook to f4, we have queen to g5, knight to e7. Great move again by Aravindh. We have now rook to g7, but now rook takes f6, and the position is collapsing finally. Here, my Stockfish engine at home evaluates the position as almost was +6 in white favor. So let's see, if you try here knight to d3, maybe to play something like queen to e3, then the issue is you get rook to f8, rook takes f8, and then bishop to f5 is simply winning the game. You have to give up here some material. Even if you try rook to g2, we can afford ourselves maybe even to give material back. But now when the pawn is rolling here, again, completely a winning here position for white. So after rook to f6, Arjun tried rook to g8, tried somehow to give some material just in order to stop maybe this very unpleasant pawn on the d5, but Aravindh says, okay, thank you, knight takes g8, rook takes g8, and now rook to f8, simplifying the game till the end. Knight to d3 with some ideas to play queen to e3, but now for rook to g8, king takes g8, and d7. We have now queen to e3 here by Arjun, and here Aravindh, believe me or not, in this game he played without inaccuracies, mistakes or blunders. He played really an incredible game from a strategic point of view. This is perfect play, and now he ends the game in the most spectacular way. He plays now beautiful queen to f2, and in this particular position Arjun Erigiaisi resigned. What's the issue? Of course, if you play knight takes f2, then we first promote, queen to d8 will happen here, and now after king to g7, first you deliver check, now you pick up the piece, allow yourself maybe a couple of checks, but now you get the king here on h2, and the queen to c7 move would prevent then any checks on this diagonal, with the whole rook up, obviously completely winning position here for white. So great game by Aravindh Chithambaram, really amazing game, deserved win. He controlled the game from the beginning. Great Torre attack, great Trompovsky attack, then transposed now into the Torre attack. Great strategic ideas he showed us here. Really, the c4 concept by Arjun was not so strong. I think he should have somehow in the beginning, let's repeat again here, somehow to find this idea with after bishop to e5 to play maybe this g4 line, knight to h4, knight to e5, and then going with knight to h7. Here black should be even slightly better. Then you have opportunities. Then the bishop on c6, that's usually bad, could breathe. It's not like it's breathing immediately, but with a potential d4 breakthrough, it could get into the game. But finally, this Darsko bishop is now a very powerful piece. This was Arjun's way to go, but unfortunately he missed it, and here Aravindh found his best ideas and had now deserved win against the man of the hour. So you see, there's no leaning back when you play against your Landsman. It's not like they agreed to a draw in the early stage of the opening. They played really sharp game. Aravindh played against his Landman, a fair game. He didn't just calculate, can Arjun maybe win this tournament? Should I make him an easy draw? No, he played till the end, and is now also having a great tournament, gained also a couple of rating points. So great game by Aravindh Chithambaram. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the Torre attack here by white. If you want to see some other games that we have covered from this event, check out our coverage. Here are some games that we have analyzed before, and if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.